The judges score the contest 48-46, 48-46, and 47-47 for the winner by majority decision, and
still, ladies and gentlemen, the Undisputed African Fighting Podcast champion of the world. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. This is your one Fight Night 35 preview. It's taking place this Saturday morning at 3 a.m. South African time. And we, of course, will be live. So we hope to see you there. With me, as always, today, ladies and gentlemen, our reigning defending big champion of the world and our chief analyst. He is, of course, Brother Gaia.
What's up, AD?
What's happening, Brother Gaia? It's one Fight Night 35, bro.
Yes, sir. We're finally here.
Yeah, but I believe you had a wonderful walk around the estate this morning.
I had to.
About what's going down in Cape Town today.
I'm still. Well, we are officially second day into spring now, so I thought I'll take the opportunity to continue my weight cut. And obviously, as you know, walking does drop the pounds, Sinjay. So I thought I'll take the opportunity to get a nice walk in. I'm gonna go for another walk later this afternoon again because of the distance I did this morning. It wasn't long enough for me. But I'm gonna do it again. So at least I got my 10Ks in. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go, PG. Stay fight ready, ladies and gentlemen. And we at Fighting with Friends stay fight ready. Yells one Fight Night 35, and as always, PG will start
at the top of the card. Massive.
At the top of the card, bro, we have the champion. It is Jackie Buntan coming up against Stella Hemetsberger here. So yeah, bro, Jackie Buntan, always a good sight to see. She always puts on a performance for the fans. Yeah. We're going to get a little bit into her record here. She is, of course, 28 years old, 7-1-0, one win by TKO on a 4-fight streak. Last time out, beating Anissa Mexon by unanimous decision. Coming up against the challenger, Stella Hemetsberger, who is 26 years old, 3-0 in one championship, one win by KO, beat Vanessa Romanowski by round one. KO in her last fight. So BG and still and new, bro.
Yeah, it's good to see Jackie Buntan back again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think she's gonna be too strong, 80, to be honest with you. That being said, I won't take anything away from Hemetsberger. I know I've been teasing the name since we saw the announcement of this fight. But Hemetsberger does have some good Muay Thai talent, right? Also, let's just talk about what's at stake here for the athletes. For Hemetsberger, she can become a first-time Muay Thai world champion under the one banner. But for Jackie Buntan, on the other hand, this is an opportunity for her to become in her first time in her career to become a two-sport champion. Right? We know that there's a lot of two-sport champions, but what's her name? Stamp Fairtex is the only athlete in one championship to hold 3 belts in 3 different disciplines. So yeah, Jackie Buntan is on her way to become, two of those. I think she's going to do it. I think we're going to see, not necessarily and still, because both of them can be and new, because it's a vacant title they're fighting for, so it will be and new regardless of who wins here. But I think Jackie Buntan's going to be the one that's going to get the hand raised. It's going to be a decision fight. If there's going to be a stoppage, I'll give it to Jackie Buntan as well. So I think she's got the power advantage here. She's sizably bigger than the Hemetsberger, but Hemetsberger can fight, man, and she's got a good style about her, fast combinations. If I can give you an example so you can kind of walk with me in terms of visually. I know we don't have it on screen right now, but in terms of fight style, if you can remember Martina Kazenska, we watched her fight about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Her style is reminiscent of what Stella Hemetsberger's fights like. Twitchy, fast-paced in and out movement. When she gets in, you can expect maybe a 3 or 4, not even 3 is minimum. You can expect a 4 to 5 punch combination and then ending with a hard low kick. She loves to do that. It's her game plan. That's how she fights. But it's also something that you can read over the course of the fight because she doesn't really change up her weapon arsenal. She does have that habit of, we're going to stand there and we're going to feint and we're going to feint. And then when she gets to the pocket, it's going to be a burst of a right down on the mouthpiece. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get out of there. Throw a low kick. Jackie Buntan, on the other hand, she can switch up on you in either way, right? She's one of the very few athletes in one championship that's gone 5 rounds against Miller Sandal. Fighters don't do that, but Jackie Buntan did it. and she was also she was undersized and just outmatched in terms of height in that fight, but she still went toe to toe with her. So Jackie Buntan, on the other hand, can switch up. You saw the way she fought against Anissa Mixon, right? Well, Anissa Mixon was the faster, higher volume fighter, and Jackie Buntan was able to get her out of there. Not in terms of finishing her, but over the 5 rounds, like dominated the rounds by countering really well, timing that dart when she comes in with a hard lift check counter. Jackie Buntan is a phenomenal athlete in terms of in-fight management, being able to size up the opponent over the first round, 2 rounds, and then deploy a game plan on that. Whether it means that she has to reestablish a game plan or just continue doing what she is doing. That's what makes it so phenomenal. And I know I'm gassing her up a lot, but I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight, just purely because Hemetsberger is going to force that kind of fight out of Jackie. She's not going to be the fighter that's going to stand there and we're going to do typical Muay Thai and do 1 or 2 shot selection. Hemetsberger is going to go in there with a lot of pace. First time fighting for a title under the one championship banner. Not sure if she's champion outside of one champion, but I mean, it's a big opportunity for her, right? She's going to go in that fight. A lot of guns are blazing. But I mean, Jackie Buntan has fought multiple styles and has been successful against multiple styles. And in my opinion, I think Lisa Mixon beats Stella Hemetsberger. In kickboxing anymore. I think she beats Hemetsberger. And they've got a similar style. And Jackie Buntan was able to navigate Lisa Mixon quite comfortably. And that's for that reason I'm gonna go. She's gonna beat Hemetsberger for the same reasons. She's gonna be able to navigate the speed. She's gonna time the dart when she comes in. Hemetsberger's gonna walk into a hard left counter or a hard right counter, and she's gonna realize, oh shit, Jackie actually hits harder than I thought. And we have to also put into account that this is 4-ounce gloves, not kickboxing gloves. That fight against Anissa Mixon, Jackie Buntan landed hard punches on her and rocked Anissa. Didn't get her out of there. I just feel like it was a 4-ounce gloves fight. Different situation. I think that Jackie Buntan in 4-ounce gloves can put anyone away. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the current strawweight kickboxing champion, Jackie Buntan, to win. And we're going to see her with 2 belts come this Saturday morning.
Let's go, Jackie Buntan. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching this live, I do believe it's going to be a premiere. So if you are watching it live, you can let us know your thoughts in the chat.
Please.
But yeah, I mean, I believe that Jackie Buntan would be the overwhelming favorite here. She usually is. But I mean, is there any way that you can see Stella getting a ton here, bro?
Yes, I can see her winning the fight.
Like? Yeah.
I can sorry to interrupt you there. I can see her winning the fight by decision. Right? I don't see her stopping Jackie. Jackie is extremely durable. And like I said, when she fought against Smilla Sendal, who I thought was going to be the fighter to actually knock Jackie out, she couldn't. So I think the way I see Hemetsberger winning this fight is by outstriking Jackie, using good footwork when she by starting and ending those car crashes, right? So she gets in there and lands the 4-punch combination, and then maybe takes one of Jackie's punches, but gets out and then resets the footwork, resets the dance, and then goes back in again. You can win rounds like that every single time on Jackie. You clearly can, because Jackie isn't a high volume striker. Jackie lets the volume go when she's got you rocked. When Jackie lands a trick left hook, which is one of her favorite weapons, right? And she sees you got you rocked, Jackie's gonna unload at least a 10-piece on you. Quick fast, a full KFC bucket. But she doesn't do it often enough throughout the fight. Where Hemetsberger is the kind of fighter she's gonna throw combinations the whole time, because she's got a very good gas tank. She's not completely muscle bound. Like Jackie's a little bit, just to be honest, Jackie is a little bit pulled out. She's getting a lot of muscle. And Stella Hemetsberger isn't. So she can move around with a lighter body, and she can pop. She can bob and weave and bob all the way through a 5-round and win. And I can see it. That's in my opinion, that's a very clear-cut path that you can see for someone like Stella. If there's a weakness in Jackie Buntan, you can overwhelm her with volume. That's how Smilla Sendal beat her. For every one strike Jackie's throwing at her, Smilla's gonna give a 4 or 5 back at her. Get into a clinch, throw a lot of knees. Jackie doesn't like the clinch. You know what I'm saying? So there are ways that Smilla can get the job done, but it's a lot easier said than done. Jackie is a top elite women's fighter in one championship, and she's fighting across two disciplines, which is not something that's easy to do. You can ask JDB; he'll tell you straight that's not an easy thing to do. So Yeah, I think Stella Hemetsberger clear-cut victory here, unanimous decision, and out-volume Jackie, like making Jackie
Mm.
react to all those combinations and control. And Smiller needs to control the entries, basically not wait for Jackie to do it. Smiller needs to start the entries and end them. That's how she wins the fight. I don't see her knocking Jackie out.
Fair play, brother Gaia. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, let us know your thoughts in the chat, in the comments, if you're not watching this live. But anyway, we got a bit of featherweight Muay Thai that we need to get to. It's the little matter of Bampara Kouyate coming up
Woo!
against Shadow here. Bampara Kouyate is 30 years old. His record in one championship is 2-1-0. Both wins by KO, and of course on a 2-fight streak. Last time out, beaten Smoking Joe Natterwood by round 1 KO. Coming up against Shadow, who is 5-1-1. He's on a 5-fight win streak, ladies and gentlemen. Last time out, he beat Hassan Vadanirad by second round KO. And of course, in the fight before that, had a no contest with Muhammad Yunus Rabah. So BG, explosive stuff on the card here. This is, I think, one of the fights that I'm looking most forward to, because I feel like this one is going to be like, blink and you miss it kind of thing. Both of these guys on fantastic runs here. So BG, how's this one going to play out, bro?
Oh, super hype. Finally, we get to see Bampara fight again. I feel like the featherweight Muay Thai and lightweight Muay Thai, we don't see these guys fight enough. And there's a lot of top talented fighters in the bigger divisions. The 155 to 170 pound, there's a lot of good fighters in Muay Thai here, and I would love to see them fight more frequently. And this is the highest order, right? This is number 3 versus number 4, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it, number 3 and 4? Because I think Superbon and Tawanchai. No, it's 3 and 2. Superbon, Tawanchai, Bampara Kouyate, Shadow. Was it Shadow Pump? Anyway, the point is it's top 5 contendership. It's number 1 contendership here. Winner here is fighting for a title next. Clean cut. I don't like how they prioritize in Superbon and Tawanchai. These guys are climbing the rankings. Let them compete. I feel like they can fuck up Superbon and Tawanchai, in my opinion. Or at least Bampara can be a big problem for them. So Shadow, it might be a little bit of even fair game, but Shadow's also, like, let's be honest, since he's only lost in one championship, he's gone on a complete kill streak. He's just been wiping out everybody in the one championship, and Shadow's really become like an undeniable name right now. So I'm surprised because of what's at stake here. But in terms of stylistically, I thought Bampara was going to get beaten by Smoking Joe, and he turned that fight around. He got knocked down in that fight, by the way, and turned it around and won the fight. Even against Luke to say as well, it was an absolute war. What the fight back was about. Bampara ended up winning that fight, bro, after getting knocked down in that fight as well. But he looks phenomenal, and he's hard to hit. His style is one of those styles that traditional Muay Thai guys are not going to do well against him because of the footwork, because of how he's going to move around you. And then you will add to that, dude's an absolute spider. He's got so much length over these dudes in the featherweight division. Now, I think Shadow's got the exact style that can actually put him in trouble. Right? Shadow's like Smoking Joe, but a little bit more devastating. There's a little bit more pop in his hands. Right? You saw that fight against Muhammad Yunus Rabah. I know it ended in a very unfortunate circumstance. It was an eye poke. He didn't like it. But up until that point, Shadow was making Yunus back foot the whole time. He was making Yunus Rabah think about how he needs to fight this fight. And Muhammad Yunus is a top class featherweight Muay Thai practitioner. Shadow was making him fight backwards until that eye poke. So I think as much as Bampara can be able to work his way around, he also needs to be very careful. Shadow is not going to chase him. Shadow's going to cut off the distance, and Shadow's going to throw when they're going to car crash each other. He's not just going to hunt, because I think if he's going to hunt for that shot, whether it's for the body or to the head or even aiming to the chest, that's when Bampara is most dangerous. If you watch Bampara's knockdowns or KOs, it's usually when he's got fighters reaching for him, 6'5", quit reaching. You know what I'm saying? When they try to get there, that's when his hands is in his pockets and he's dancing away from you, and then you extending for something and you're walking into an elbow or to something that you're not even seeing. That's how dangerous Bampara, and he gets me excited just thinking about how brilliant this dude's style is. However, you know me, AD, I don't like fighters fighting with their hands down. I don't give a fuck how brilliant you are, how smooth as butter you can be in terms of your footwork. Keeping your hands down is such a massive risk, and it's going to be a big risk against a fighter that's got the knockout power of Shadow. And currently, the record that Shadow's on right now, he doesn't know how to lose at the moment, right? He's on a 6-fight win streak, I think it is. 5-fight win streak. So
5, yeah.
he he just knows how to beat people. And I think this in that 5 fight wins streak, it's 4 KOs, right, or something like that. Let me just double check here. No, 2 KOs, but still up against. Look, he beat Muhammad Sarani, Sitachai. The- You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Shadow. This is gonna be a tough fight for Muhammad, for Bampara, because I think beating Smoking Joe, Bampara got Smoking Joe, where it's like he's over 35 now. It's like, Shadow's not that guy. Shadow's is in and around title contention, being under 30. So it's like this is gonna be a really, really, really good fight. If I can give you an early win, early pick, I'm gonna go Bampara Kouyate. I think he's gonna have the counter presence and the speed to actually, and the accuracy, to actually land that precise shot to get Shadow out of there. Because Shadow has in the past shown me that his guard can be open. You know what I mean? You can catch him, but it's kind of a pick and fight. In the end of the day, anyone can win here. I think because I've seen Bampara get turned before and come back. You know what I mean? He got turned twice against Luke Lissay and Smoking Joe, and come back from those knockdowns. But I just think that Shadow's got a bigger punch than Luke Lissay and Smoking Joe. So I don't know if Bampara will be able to come back from a knockdown against someone like Shadow, and that's always going to be the risk there. And that's why I say it so lightly that Bampara will win, because there's always that risk that he could get knocked out by Shadow.
Yeah, another fascinating contest there, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. If you don't mind dropping a like on the video, we'd really appreciate that. But yeah, we can then move to another featherweight bout here, BG. Akbar Abdullayev versus Ibrahim Duayev. Go to some quick records. Abdullayev is 27 years old. His record in one championship is 4-0. He's got 1 win by KO, 3 wins by TKO, 4-fight streak. Last time out beating Tawanchai by 5th round TKO. Coming up against Ibrahim Duayev, who is 24 years old. Record in one championship is 3-0 on a 3-fight streak. Last time out beating Pedro Dante by unanimous decision. So someone's gotta go here for sure. And Akbar Abdullayev has been in the media. Just give you guys a quick preview of what he said here. I was training as usual in my own manner with my team. I didn't change anything. I always say the fight will show, but I will fight in my usual way and style.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, bro. So yeah, I mean, undefeated. So obviously he's not gonna want to change too much. Both of these guys actually. So yeah, BG, give us your thoughts on this one, please, bro.
Fascinating fight, right? Because Abdullah, before this, he fought for the title, and he completely dominated the champion, and he didn't get the title because he missed weight, right? And unfortunately, unlucky, gutted. As long as I don't see that my guy Akbar is banned for substances, right? I don't want to see anything like that. I don't mind a weight cut, or able to make the weight cut. That you can get around that. You can fix that. But announcements is a different situation. So I'm glad to see that that's there. Super happy to see him back and fighting. In terms of the MMA roster in one championship, he's my favorite fighter, hands down. He's my favorite fighter in the organization. I know we got Bokang Masanyane. I know I got an affinity for homegrown fighters, South Africa, and he's also from Cape Town. But at the same time, I'm a big fan of Akbar's style. And why I like his style is because he doesn't fight like your traditional Dagestani wrestlers or anything like that. This guy, he's a different breed. He's an absolutely different breed. The way that he fights, you don't, when a fighter is fighting someone and you're doing no look punches like this, and you doing a bit of Sugar Sean O'Malley, but then you can actually back it up with having not only devastating KOs, but like you can out grapple people as well. I'm like, nah, Abdullah, my bro, why are you fighting here? Why are you fighting here? He needs to go to the UFC. Where he's gonna get more frequent fights and also like a lot of challenges. I know it's don't trade on one championship, but the one championship doesn't really cater to the MMA scene as much as UFC would. And that's why I'm like, what is the kind of talent that would do so much better in an organization like the UFC, for example. So yeah, as for Ibrahim Daweev, his last fight left me going. Before that, I was like, this guy can fight. Look, he's 24 years old. He's undefeated. I always thought, nah, he's almost like in the same caliber as the way Asadullah Iman Ghazali. If we just watched that knockout Panpayak, young Russian fighter, super super creative, tall, just a very difficult fighter to beat because you don't know how to game plan for him, right? Then he fought Pedro Dantas, who was his debut, and Pedro Dantas was undefeated as well. 6 wins, 6 KOs. And Pedro was taking it to him. Pedro lost the fight against Tye. If we watched it together live, I mean, I'm not sure if you can remember 80. But
Yeah, I do.
that's when Pablo Frotomus came into our channel. And we were watching the fight, and I was like, I thought Pedro actually put on a good performance. He lost the fight, but it showed me, it answered questions that I asked about Ibrahim. I was like, what does he look like when he can't knock someone out? When he can't take you down, and it's a difficult fight, and now he has to, he can't do the things he wants to do. What are you gonna look like then? That was my biggest thing about him. Because before that fight, he was walking around like this untouchable athlete. I was like, but what happens when you go up against someone that you can't run around with, and you can't toss them the way you toss them around, and you can't land your axe kicks? And now what are you gonna do, right? And Pedro Dantas took it to him, and I was like, okay, doesn't look that good after round one. He looks a little bit shocked. And he's taking on someone in Akbar Abdullayev who is a whole weight class above him. A better fighter, in my opinion, than Pedro Dantas. More devastating. Has a battery on him. The dude can go for 5 rounds easy. It's not even a 5 round fight, by the way. Right? And he can put you away. If you look at Akbar, his record in one championship, it's all finishes. He's finished every fighter he's fought against so far. So I'm gonna go with Akbar Abdullayev purely because I think he's just he's everything that Ibrahim is, but bigger and better. And I'm just curious to see what weight class this fight's gonna be at. I see it says featherweight MMA there, right? But Akbar is a 155er, and Ibrahim is a 145er. I'm just keen to see which weight they're gonna come in at. Is it gonna be 155, or are they gonna go down to 145? I doubt that they're gonna be going down because I don't think Akbar can actually make 145. So I think that they're gonna fight the 155, maybe even a bit heavier. At the end of the day, I hope that all the fights on this fight card we'll see on Thursday, they all make weight. Fantastic. So I'm keen to see what weight class they're gonna fight at. If it's 155, even at 145, I'd still give the edge to Akbar. But you know what happens when the Oaks have bad weight cuts? It's they don't perform well. So let's see what happens here. But stylistically, pure wrestling, pure fighting, pure MMA, Akbar is the better fighter. And I think he's gonna go to town on Ibrahim here. He's gonna school him.
Let's go, PG. And once again, asking you to comment on the video, ladies and gentlemen. Um, yeah, I guess we'll keep moving then. There was something I wanted to say, but it's completely slipped my
Face
mind
me.
now. Oh yeah,
I
this
like
thing about the weight. This thing about the weight, bruh,
yes, sir.
is this? Are you just talking about this because do you think one of them might potentially miss weight, or
Yes.
has the weight not officially been decided yet?
No, I'm saying that because I've got a feeling that one of them will miss weight.
I see. Because I was gonna be
Yeah.
like, why is it still up in the air as to what weight they're gonna be fighting at? So it is, of course, gonna be. It's slated to be
Mm.
featherweight MMA. Yeah, and you
Yes,
just worry
yes.
about the weight miss here. Okay,
And
I see.
and Ibrahim Daweef hasn't been fighting 155 in one championship.
I
He's
see.
always
I see.
he's always been fighting below that. He's always been fighting bantamweights. And yeah, that's how I'm like, okay, it looks like he's actually going up here into 155. So let's see. And also, uh, that fight against Pedro Dantas, I remember doing a live watch along of that weigh-in show for that fight card. And Ibrahim had to wait until the very end to successfully complete his weigh-in, and he looked like he had a tough weight cut for 145. So yeah, let's see what happens here.
Do you know when the weigh-ins are scheduled for?
Yeah, it's on Thursday at 12 noon South African time.
Okay, so we'll be on stream for one championship Friday fights at that
Yeah.
time. So I guess we can keep an eye on that for you as well, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
But all right then, PG, we'll keep moving. And we'll go to some bantamweight Muay Thai here where we see Rambolek coming up against Dimitri Kovtun. Rambolek is 22 years old. He's 5-2-0. He's got 2 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO on a 3-fight win streak. Last time out beating Param Geriati by round 2 TKO. Coming up against Dimitri Kovtun, 27 years old, 3-1-0, 2-fight streak. Last time out beating our boy Sulen U.
Yeah.
by unanimous decision. So BG, give us your who and why.
Wait, fun fight. I think this is the second time that this fight has been put together, been contracted. The last one it fell through because of Rambolek unable to be. I think he was not medically clear for the fight. So now it's rescheduled and we got it on this fight card. So happy to see it. Both guys that are on a bit of a streak, or at least getting themselves back into the consistent win column. I like the two wins for Dimitri Kovtun in his last fight, where he had Superlek and Sulen U, who are two very difficult names to be fighting against. If we're being honest, also stylistically, he can be a nightmare for traditional Muay Thai guys, just because he's got this bouncy, twitchy, high volume. Don't know when he's going to enter the pocket or not. Very unpredictable style. Also, that typical spin and attack kind of Russian fighters that Muay Thai guys seem to go like, how do I get around this? But Rambolek, there's a whole big argument that he got the contract too early, right? He's only 22 years old. He got the contract when he was 20. But the dude is built different for bantamweight, bro. He's also, in my opinion, he's not a true bantamweight. He's a big dude. He's a big dude. He's massive for the division, right? I know the bantamweight is 145 for the guys, but Rambolek is stacked, and I think this is a fight where it's going to be difficult for Dimitri to stay consistently busy. That will be the keys to victory. Is the constant footwork, the constant just making your opponent defend, right? Even if he's not getting the knockout blow, he's making Rambolek fighting backwards, looking for those counter elbows. That's the keys to victory here. But I've just seen Dimitri in the past. Look, he only has one loss recorded, right? It was against Tawanchai. But I've seen Dimitri Kovtun slow down. Round 2, round 3 he's not the same because his style is so heavy bouncing, and he's a lot of in and out. There's a lot of energy being spent because of his extensive footwork. Rambolek is the kind of fighter that he doesn't really like to chase people down. He's not the kind of guy that's gonna a lot of volume and chase you down. He's gonna watch you. He's gonna stand in. He's gonna time you and see. Okay, you're gonna dart forward, switch stance, and throw a 3-piece and get back into position. He watches stuff like that, and then he uncorks something on you, and then you notice you got hit by a freaking sledgehammer. That's how intense Rambolek is, and he can take the fight. Bro, when it gets into close quarters, I'm gonna favor Rambolek there, just because I think he's more durable than Dimitri Kovtun, and he's more powerful than Dimitri Kovtun, but he's significantly slower, like significantly slower, because he's the one punch kind of guy. He's that sniper, like Ferrari fought last week, where it's like we're gonna stand here and he's just gonna pick one, two shots at a time, but they're gonna come at you with so much volume, so much velocity that you're gonna have no choice but to either block it or get it the fuck out of the way. But you can't stand there and expect to block and take and try and counter, because you're gonna get into a firefight and you're probably gonna come off second best. Because Rambolek is that kind of guy. He puts people away. So I'm gonna favor Rambolek, right? I think he's gonna win. Either 3-round decision, but I also expect him to have that knockout shot in there to put Dimitri down. Maybe get a couple of knockdowns, maybe one knockdown in the fight, but it's gonna win him the fight. But if there is a style that does make Rambolek struggle, it's the style that Dimitri Kovtun has got, and that's that fast, fancy footwork, high volume. If you remember, what's his name? The way Asa Tenpao has beaten Rambolek, it was because Asa Tenpao had more shots. He was more powerful, not more powerful, but he knew what Rambolek was going to come at. It was going to be this: I'm going to use my length and my power, and I'm going to walk you down, and I'm going to just land these big blows at you. Asa Tenpao was privy to this, and he was like, I'm just going to take an angle out here and cut an angle and land a hard counter on you, and it did that, and it fucked Rambolek up. So Dimitri Kovtun's going to have to use that footwork to win the fight. He can't go straight backwards in a straight line. He can't meet him in the middle and go fire for fire, because those are areas in the fight where I think he has a disadvantage. So it's a very intriguing matchup. It's one of those classic stylistic matchups where it's the speed heavy footwork fighter up against the power puncher, and we'll have to see who prevails here. But I'm gonna go Rambolek.
Give thanks, brother guy, and let us know if you agree with BG. But BG, we got some serious business to get to now. Ooh. So, is Adrian Lee serious business, BG?
I don't know yet, eh? I mean, he's the only fighter I've seen on the entire roster that's got the green active above his name. He's the only one that's got that. Just so weird. But I don't know. I want to see more of him to answer that question. I do believe that he's got a ton of hype because of the Lee family brand, right? It's a big brand in the US Singapore uh connection. It's a massive name, and I don't think he would have gotten the fight against Tye Ruotolo if he was considered to be the young phenom that they call him as.
Mm.
Um, but I am when it comes to um hype of a young fighter when they don't have such a big record yet.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about the upcoming fight. It is, of course, Tye Ruotolo making his. Is this his first fight? Second fight?
MMA first,
MMA,
yeah.
yeah. First fight in MMA following in his brother's footsteps. But we'll talk about Adrian Lee first up, 19 years old, 3-0, all three coming by submissions last time out, beating Takehari Ogawa by first round submission. But when we do speak about submissions, you got to talk about the Ruotolo brothers. Tye
Mm.
Ruotolo, welterweight grappling submission world champion, 22 years old, 8-0 last time out, beating Dante Leon by unanimous decision. That was, of course, in submission grappling. As mentioned, making his debut here. So, is he going to follow in his brother's footsteps here and go undefeated, BG, or what are your
Mm.
thoughts here, bro?
Look, you want to go with the math in your head, or you want to favor the MMA guy, right? You want to go that way because um, Adrian Lee has more MMA experience. He's got 3 wins, 3 submissions. Looks very aggressive, very much reminiscent of his older brother Christian Lee, who's a 2 division champion, right? Lightweight and welterweight. And if you watch Christian Lee fight, also very good fighter, like top class, phenomenal grappling, good jiu-jitsu, good boxing, fantastic durability, good scrambles on him, just a good, well-rounded MMA fighter, right? And Adrian Lee's pretty much on his way to becoming the same style, same vibe, same build. You've got the what's this? What's the sister's name? There were 2 sisters as well. That Angela Lee, and there was a younger one that passed away. Um, so the Lee family is a big family, bro. They got a massive gym in Singapore as well, and they are producing fantastic fighters um, out of that gym. But I do think that this fight is going to be a little bit more tricky for Aiden Lee than what he thinks and what the MMA fan base thinks. Because you want to go, okay, but Tolo, if you watch the way Cade fought in his first MMA fights, doesn't have the best striking. He's not the cleanest boxer, but he took all his opponents down and tapped them out. You know, you know what I mean? He did what we took the fight into positions where it favored him. And I know it was a bunch of layups for Cade Ruotolo, but it was guys who have fought in MMA. They have fought, they've got records. And Cade walked through them, right? Tye Ruotolo also we have to put into account that he's coming into this fight he's a little bit heavier. He's a little bit heavier than Adrian Lee. Adrian Lee, I think, is a true this fight is recorded at 155 is recorded at the lightweight fight. So that means they both are supposed to be weighing in at 170. Tye Ruotolo says welterweight grappling, right? He's competing at 180, 185 consistently. When he fought against Dante Leon in his last fight, that was 185. Dante Leon fought at the CJI like a few days ago. These are big jiu-jitsu dudes. They're massive. So Tye Ruotolo is actually a pretty heavy dude than what meets the eye. I think Aiden Lee is gonna realize that if he doesn't get those boxing combinations going, because if you look at Aiden Lee, he's a very fast starter, aggressive, runs you down, not walks you down, runs you down, and just blasts some heavy shots in your face and takes you down, looks for a submission. Um, and I just feel like that's gonna favor Tye Ruotolo. I think that Aiden Lee's gonna have to keep the fight standing. He's gonna have to make it a boxing match. I think he's gonna be surprised at the height discrepancy. He's gonna be surprised at the length of what Tye Ruotolo actually is, and how big of a 185 he actually is. He's not Drickus big, but Tye Ruotolo is a pretty solid dude, pretty solid size. And I also think Aiden Lee knows that if it goes down to jiu-jitsu, when it gets to the ground, I don't think that his MMA wrestling is gonna save him because the Ruotolo jiu-jitsu is a different pedigree of jiu-jitsu. They're so frantic, but frantic in a good way. Not frantic in the traditional term of what that word means. They're actually frantic in a good way in the way they fight. Those chaotic moments on the ground favors Tye and Cade. It favors them. That's what they love. They love to create those scramble moments. And I think that's where it's gonna favor Ruotolo. So I'm gonna go with Tye, even though this is his debut. The only way I see him losing the fight is getting KO'd. That's the only way I see him losing the fight. He's taking a hard right hand and not recovering from it. But I think the fight stays standing. It's gonna give Tye a lot of time to work on those entries. And the way he does takedowns is not your traditional double leg, single leg, clinch, body lock, take you down, high crotch, none of that. His takedowns are so creative, you don't even see it coming, bro. And he can do an Emanari roll, and you will get your leg, and you will gonna have to come down to the ground, and that's where it's his game, right? So I'm gonna go with Tye Ruotolo here, even though it's his debut fight. I just think that the pedigree of jiu-jitsu is something that traditionally a lot of the MMA guys have not seen. And I know we've had like world jiu-jitsu champions. If I can go top of my head, there was Gilbert Burns, right? We can go back further than that. We can go to what's his name, the middleweight guy that was in the UFC. Oh, I don't know why I'm forgetting his name. So I grew up watching him during his tenure. But I mean the Nogueira brothers, all these guys were world jiu-jitsu champions. When they transitioned over to MMA, yes, they won some fights in submission, but they had to really change their game very quickly because people were finding it out. People were like, "We're not going to grapple with you. We know you jiu-jitsu. We're just going to cancel." And jiu-jitsu guys traditionally don't have MMA takedown entries. It's not the same way. So it's a very intriguing conversation in terms of how it's all going to play out. But I just think Adrian Lee, being a submission guy, what are you going to do then? Because you can't go up Tolo in grappling. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, I'm gonna favor Tolo.
Yeah, true. I mean, but if it did come down to who was better on the feet, you got to favor Adrian Lee. But like you
Yeah,
said, Adrian Lee's strength is also submission, so
also
might be
grappling.
playing
Yeah,
into Tolo there. These two have been pretty respectful in the media. Adrian Lee coming out saying the Ruotolo brothers, they're both very fast, they're both very slick with their submissions. They've got good cardio, and they've got a good pace they put on their opponents. And in return, Tye Ruotolo saying, "I know for sure he's going to know MMA very well. He's going to be a super
mm.
formidable opponent." Let us know your thoughts on that one, ladies and gentlemen. PG, do you have any final thoughts before we move here, bro?
Yeah. I will say a keys to victory for Adrian in this fight is to do what Christian Lee does, and that is to it's like dirty MMA, man. I don't mean dirty in terms of foul play, but it's like if you can take old videos now or go watch tape on young Daniel Cormier, and when he was having his run in the UFC so phenomenally, he would do things that was like high crotch, single collar tie, and then do like uppercuts in the single collar tie.
Mm,
Put your head on someone's chin, and you just deck them up against the cage, and
yeah,
you make it a very ugly fight. And that's
dirty.
how
Yeah.
make it dirty, bro. You make it fucking
Mm,
dirty. And that's how Christian Lee fights as well. He's got this overwhelming pressure, and he keeps you up against the cage, and it's just ugly. We're gonna glue each other out here, and that's how he fights, man. And that's how he wins a lot of his fights as well. And I think Aiden Lee's got a very similar style. However, and there's a big however, if you watch how Tye and Cade fight in their grappling fights, right? It's like, bro, it's so high pace, such a high octane kind of grappling. And I know for a fact. If I think about when I used to roll and I used to do jiu-jitsu as well, and you must have a different kind of cardio to grapple at that pace the whole time. Different kind of cardio. Same with boxing, same with stand up, different kind of cardio as well. But I mean, for stand up, where you get tired for stand up is when you're doing a lot of sideways movement, a lot of you know dancing around the octagon or dancing around the ring. That's more tiring than sitting down on your punches and throwing out jabs and throwing out the three piece. And you know what I'm trying to say? You can get tired quicker when you're grappling someone than it is to just stand and jab and throw a couple of three pieces over 5 rounds, over 3 rounds. But with grappling, you can grapple at the Rotolo pace for 1 5 minute round and you fuck. You've got no more stamina after that. But these boys go 10 minutes easy, and they don't look tired at all. So I think I think that's also something that Aiden's going to have to be wary of, is that the cardio of the Ruotolo brothers is also something to witness. They know how to weaponize it, because just like Merab Dvalishvili, he can grapple for 5 rounds without getting tired. You know what I mean? And I find that one of the hardest things to beat in any combat sports is someone's stamina. If someone can go at you the whole time and they don't slow down, that's a problem. You're facing a big problem here. And I think Aiden Lee's going to have to watch out for that.
Give thanks, brother Gaia. Lots to get the gums flapping about this one. I mean, I've seen it pretty much after each fight here, but another fascinating contest, just stylistically, to see how Adrian Lee's going to game plan this one. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Drop a like on the video as we proceed to some flyweight Muay Thai now. We've got Johan Ghazali, 18 years old, record in one championship, 6-3-0, 5 wins by KO on a 2-fight slide. Last time out, he lost to Diego Paez by split decision. Coming up against Zakaria Al-Jamari, who is 35 years old, so almost double the age of his opponent here. Record in one championship is 1-4-0. He's also on a slide here, but he is on a 3-fight slide. Last time out, losing to Hugh by first round KO. BG, over to you, sir.
Yeah, fun fight. Personally, so when I looked at the matchup the first time, I thought this could be a fight just to get Ghazali back into the win column. Like, let's just get this kid back into the position where he's becoming. We're not becoming, where he's basically bringing back the fan base, right? Because I mean, where he's been losing the fan base is that he's been saying a lot of stuff. I'm the next Conor McGregor for one championship, and I'm this, and I'm gonna be the prime minister of Malaysia to make it better than what it is, and a lot of big statements, right? But when he got the contract after that 5-fight win streak, when he did get the contract, he's been unsuccessful. His record has gone below. His win rate has dropped down from being so consistent to being an under 50% win rate now. You know what I mean? And I just feel like there's been a bit of a rush from Jojo and his team to make him the superstar. He doesn't really have to. Not at 18 years old. You know what I mean? Not at 18 years old. You can be, there's a lot of 18-year-olds, 16, 17-year-old that's in Muay Thai. That's your age group, and you can be part of that generation, with that generation, to become the next god. You know what I mean? At this point, don't make such big brazen statements when there's still Muay Thai champions at the moment that's gonna be there for another 5 to 6 years, and he's not on that level. He's just not on their level, right? The flyweight Muay Thai, you know for a fact, like, if you think about the flyweight Muay Thai's landscape right now, do you think Johan Ghazali is gonna beat someone like Ong Thorani or Azam John Otikov?
Probably not.
I don't think so. And those are the fighters that are next in line with Rotang, who's only 28 years old. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, this dude, he needs to just recognize that there are guys that are in the top 5 that you're not on that level now. And the way the One Championship was promoting him and his team was to make it sound like he's basically right there. He's knocking on the door. And I'm like, not quite. Not quite. Also, if you think about the names that he has knocked out in those 5 fights that that's been building him up, where are those fighters now? They haven't fought. They haven't fought. We don't see those names no more. You know what I'm saying? We don't see those names anymore. They haven't fought. They haven't. I'm pretty sure they've all been cut from the fucking promotion. So it's like,
so Jojo, I mean, I think it's trying to get the US fan base to buy into the sport. That's the main reason why they pushed him so hard. But yeah, sorry, BG, back to you, bro.
No, I completely agree with you, bro. And I just think that there were other fighters that could have done this with, other than Jojo Ghazali, in my opinion. They could have moved on to someone else. You know, there was Ace Power, for example. If you want to go into US Muay Thai guys, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, I just think, bringing it back to this fight, I think Johan's gonna get the win. I think he's gonna knock out Zakaria Al-Jamari, probably get him out round 1 or round 2. He's taller, he's younger, he's more vibrant, he hits harder. Zakaria is, if you look at Zakaria's fights in One Championship, he's kind of been the fighter that One Championship has been paying to go take losses. You know what I mean? Because look at those 3 losses, right? I leave Johan Estupinan and you He's fought those 3 fighters at the time when they just entered the organization and lost to them, by the way.
Mm.
So it's like, what are you doing with this, bro? He's also at the age where he can't make a title run. You know what I mean? He's not going to be able to get that right at this point. All the youngsters, Alif is under 22 years old. Johan Estepan just turned 22. You had just turned 22 as well. So you basically lost to the next generation. So I just feel like this is going to be the same thing here. He's going to go in there, probably have a very good first round against Ghazali, probably, but then he's gonna get caught to something very heavy, get dropped, and Johan's gonna chase him down and then put him away, and then we're gonna go, oh, Ghazali's back, Jojo. He's just something big on the mic. He's gonna be like this. Give me the mic and be like, Mystic Mac is back, or whatever the fuck he's gonna say, and then we're gonna go, oh, Johan Ghazali again, up until he gets another stupid name brother and gets beaten again. So yeah, that's just my opinion about Jojo at this point. But I think he's gonna win the fight.
Let us know if you agree with that, PG, with a hot take here on Johan Ghazali. Do we have any Johan Ghazali stands in the Fighting with Friends subscriber base? Let us know in the comments or in the chat, whatever you prefer.
He's good.
Yeah,
give him
I
that.
mean, yeah,
You know?
yeah, but yeah, too much too soon. I do agree with that, but yeah, we'll see. Let's see how he does here. Because if he loses this one, Brad, then it's like
Yo.
it's over. You know what I mean? It's done. It's completely done,
know?
bro. He's done. He's got to
I
get a
completely
job
agree.
in HR or something.
He's gonna be a promoter for one championship of matchmaker. Look, I can give him this much, right? I'll give him this much respect. Okay, losing to Johannes Tupanen, is nothing to take away there because the Tupanen, let's be real, these are very good fighters. The Tupanen twins are good fighters, right?
Mm.
Losing to Diego Paez as well. I know the split decision. I thought he actually won the fight, but Diego Paez is also a former champion, so I can understand like those losses. I won't put too much to them because you lost against fighters who I did think are better than you, so I can get that. So let's see what happens here. Let's see if he can correct it, right? And I think that's why his next opponent wasn't someone of the caliber of Diego Paez, for example. He's fighting someone who isn't a former champion. And that's why I feel like it's a fight that's going to, it's kind of like built around to bring him back into the win column.
Give thanks, brother Gaia. Let me bring my. Oh, there we are. Okay. So yeah, let us know your thoughts again, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna move to some atomweight MMA now, where we will see Macarena Aragon come up against Natalie Salcedo. We saw Macarena not too long ago. I believe it was in July or June.
Yeah, 12th of July.
She's looking to get back to winning ways here. She is 23 years old. Record in one championship is 1-2. Like I said last time, she lost, and that was to Chihiro Sawada by first round submission. She's coming up against Natalie Salcedo, who's making a one championship debut. She's 33 years old, professional record 3-0, 2 by sub, 5-0 amateur record with 4 wins by sub. So overall, still undefeated. So I mean, I imagine there's not too much tape that you could have found on Natalie Salcedo, unfortunately. If you know anything, ladies and gentlemen, let us know in the comments. PG, take us away for this one.
Yeah, I've been looking looking all over the place to find some cool footage of her, just to see what the style's right. But looking at the Tapology page and seeing that amount of submission wins, it's a lot of submission wins, right? Because if you counted 2 of the 3 fights in the pro record is by submission, then 4 of the 5 in the amateur is by submission. Kind of tells you what kind of fighter she's at, right? Where, like, what her game plan really is. And also, Macarena Aragon is a wrestler by trade. Like, that's her body. She loves to wrestle. She's a very strong wrestler, by the way. But sometimes a bit too. I don't want to use the word reckless. But she's only 23 years old, and she sometimes is a bit too hasty to get into positions. And that's why she got tapped out by Chihiro Sawada in that first round fight. She gave away positions too fast and got caught. And if I'm looking at Natalie's record, I feel like that might be the same thing. Like I'm going Macarena for the win. I don't really pick winners when it comes to a debut fighter, right? But I'm going Macarena Aragon for the win because of how she wrestled against Shadowcat. The way she beat Shadowcat, I was like, that's the fight that I want to see. That's the Macarena that can be very devastating to fight against. And she was starting to be bullish again by using her size and reach and power. And she's quite a big fighter for the women's, I think, atomweight division. So I think she was looking to bully. However, you don't want to be too aggressive or over hasty, or you know just trying to force the positions, because that's when fighters can catch you. And I think that's what could be potentially at risk for Macarena in this fight as well. She's taking on someone who is debuting, but he's older than you, does have more experience than you as well, and she's quite crafty on the ground. If you have what's that? She's got six of her 8 wins or by submission. Like, you got to be careful here, especially because how you got caught in the last fight against Sawada. You don't want to make the same mistakes here. And I think Macarena, with her reach advantage over the atomweight fighters, let's see some boxing going, bro. Let's see you utilize that reach and that power advantage. Let's see some double jab, but right hands come out of it. You know what I mean? Let's get some body kicks in there. Let's force your fighters to react to you, and they will give you those positions where you can maybe sink in a guillotine, or you can reverse a takedown, and then you get on top control, and you land an elbow, and then get into a kimura or anaconda choke. Let the fighter give you those weapons, give you those targets. But I feel like because now I don't want to blame it completely on her age, but she's fighting like someone that's only now getting to the big leagues, and this 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 rush to get the fights to an ending is what's costing Macarena here. So hopefully she fixes that, and we can get a good display here. But I'm expecting a good fight nonetheless.
Let's go. Let's go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Especially if you know anything about Natalie Salcedo, we'd love to hear it. What you can tell us. Hopefully, someone from the US can give us the inside scoop there. But opening the card for One Fight Night 35, ladies and gentlemen, and this will be closing the card for us. We do have Hugh coming up against Jordan Estupinian in some flyweight kickboxing. Yu is 22 years old, 3-0, 1 win by KO, 1 win by TKO on a 3-fight streak. Last time out, he beat Zachariah Aljamari by first round KO, coming up against Jordan Estupinian, 22 years old, record in one championship, 2-0. Last time out, beat Ali Saldoyev by unanimous decision. He's also got the Freddie Haggerty victory under the belt. So nothing to play with here, Jordan Estupinian. Yeah, and someone who we've been following since his debut. Yeah, so let us know, bro. Is he gonna remain undefeated here? Quite a good fight to open the card, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, this fight could have been higher up on the fight card because of the profile of fighters, right? And also, like, their growth in the organization has been quite, not necessarily rapid, but progressively good, right? They're both undefeated in the organization, and they have taken on some good names. I know for Jordan, it hasn't really been fighters that are like frequently at one championship. I mean, Ali Saldoyev, I think at that Saldoyev, I think that fight was a debut for both of them. And I think Freddie Haggerty has only had like 2 or 3 fights prior coming into the fight against Jordan. So and he's also not contracted. So that kind of tells you where that is. But that's not throwing shade on the caliber of opponents. I think Jordan Estupinian is the better fighter between Jordan and Johan, in my opinion. And Johan has got more fights in the organization, but I think Jordan fights a little bit with a higher IQ. He's not as reckless. He doesn't spin a lot. He doesn't wear out his energy tank the way Johan does. Jordan is a little bit more selective with his shots, which makes him more dangerous, in my opinion. And that's what we saw in his last 2 fights. That's why he's still undefeated. But he's taking on a fighter who, in my opinion, is going to be better. And also, I think Yu is going to win the fight. This is kickboxing, not Muay Thai, which favors Yu. With Jordan Estupinian, I think if this was a Muay Thai fight, I think he wins the fight. I think he gives Yu a tough time because then it also unlocks more weapons to Jordan Estupinian. Now they fight in kickboxing. He can't elbow. He can't clinch knee. He can't clinch elbow. So he's going to have to just come to straight boxing and straight kicks, which I think is going to favor Yu. Yu is fighting out of Team Mehdi, and he's fighting out of Jomets in Japan. So he's phenomenal, bro. And the way he disposed of Zachariah was just something to watch. It was one of those things where you're like, I could watch this fight over and over and over again because you can learn so much by Yu's technique. You can learn a lot by how he selects his shots, how he taps opponents into positions where if he chooses to throw here, he's giving you minimal choices. He's like, you're either going to have to take the shot here, you're going to have to block it, but you're going to have to allow me to hit you. That's what Yu fights. He fights like that. It's like he fights you in a way that he doesn't give you many options. It's like your options that he's giving you is options that favors him. That for me is a fighter that's got a lot of IQ. That's a high IQ kind of fighter. So I'm gonna go with you, right? I think it's because the discipline favors him, if that makes sense, right? And also Jordan Estupiñán is not this fight's recorded at flyweight. I'm just seeing here on screen now that Yu's weight is 152 and flyweight is 135 in one championship.
Insane.
So Jordan Estupiñán is a natural 135er. Heman and Johan and they're not big dudes. You know what I mean? They do make the 135 mark quite easily. And even though he's making flyweight every single time successfully, he's been making weight. He's a pretty big dude for the division. He's a little bit stacked for the division. Like if you watch the fight against against Zachariah, he towered over Zachariah pretty easily. So I think he's gonna win the fight on decision. He's gonna just be smoother, more selective. The discipline favors him better. However, Estupiñán he doesn't fight. Jordan doesn't fight like Johan, so I think Johan is going to be a little bit. Jordan's going to be a little bit more selective, pick his shots. Keys to victory. I would love to see him blast high kicks. Try and stay on the outside, get the low kick in there, because when they get into close quarters, I think he was gonna get him. But I favor you when it gets to close quarters. I think he's cleaner, he's smart, he's just got a very good display of technique, and also again when it comes to close quarters, the way he sets up traps, he's phenomenal. So this is gonna be as much as I don't like the fight being early on the card. I think it's also a very good curtain raiser to kind of set the trend for the theme for the night. You know what I mean? It's gonna set the
Mm.
theme off nicely for the fight card because you got two explosive, high level, intriguing young fighters in Jordan and Hugh. But I think Hugh's gonna win the fight on decision.
Give thanks, Brother Gaia. If you agree with Brother Gaia, let us know in the comments. If you disagree with Brother Gaia, let us know in the comments. But anyway, BG, we're going to wrap up one fight night 35. Buntan versus Hemetsberger with a pre-fight rating and some final thoughts, please, sir.
Yeah, fun fight card, 8 fight card, and we did the preview for every single fight on the fight card. So for me, because we did that, it kind of tells you the level of fights that we get in here. So I'm gonna start it off with a pre-fight of 8. I know it's high, but I mean you can't go lower than that if you can see the caliber of fighters that we're gonna get on display this weekend. So I'm gonna go with 8, and we'll see how it looks come the end of the stream
Yeah,
on
agreed. I think
Saturday.
that's a fair score. Fair score. And yeah, how about you guys let us know your pre-fight score before the card, ladies and gentlemen? That would be very interesting to know.
Yeah,
BG, not gonna quite let you go for lunch yet because we are just gonna get into one or two media stories before we wrap up for the day.
sure.
It's quite interesting. Yuki Yoza, always talking trash, and Tawanchai has had enough of it. He says Yuki Yoza talks too much. If Superlek trains and is at 100%, nobody can beat him. So, but yeah, realistically, what kind of chance are you giving Yuki Yoza up against arguably the GOAT here, bro?
I think it's gonna be a closer fight than people think. I agree with some of the sentiments of Tawanchai. I do think that Superlek is still, in my opinion, the pound for pound number one when it comes to one championship, right? Because he took out the guy that was the guy, and that's Rotang. And
Mm.
not only Rotang, he's pretty much beat all the best guys that they used to fight against. He took out Superlek. He took out Takeru before Rotang took out Takeru in Japan as well. You know what I mean? And I know Roteng knocked him out in one round, but I mean, Super League went 5 rounds with Takeru and basically beat him every single round. Significant. You know, I think there was like one round when Takeru actually had Roteng. I mean, excuse me, had Super League on skates. There was like one moment in that third round where that happened. But prior to that, I do think that uh, as a very healthy Super League at either flyweight or bantamweight. I think he's a nightmare for everybody. He's the kind of guy that everyone loses to. He even beat Nabil Anan. You know, I know Nabil beat Superlek in his last fight, but I mean we all can see that wasn't Superlek that was healthy. Everyone could see it. It's not to make an excuse, but Superlek really wasn't healthy in that fight. So is it gonna be a walk in the park with a if it was a healthy Superlek against Yuki Yoza? I'm not so sure. I think it's gonna be a lot more even fight because also this is not a washed out Yuki Yoza. This is a prime Yuki Yoza. You know what I mean? This is Yuki Yoza. That's only 27 years old. This is not someone that is like Takeru that's over 30. Because when Takeru fought against Superlek, Takeru was 32 at the time, which is still fairly young. In my opinion, it's still very young in combat, in any sports, actually. It's still a very young age. It's still a very much a powerful age to be in. It's only when you're after 35, 36, when you start to feel things slowing down. But still, you can still be very dangerous, right? And Sam A proves that. So I think this is actually going to be a more even fight than what people think. And I think don't be surprised to see Superlek in trouble in some of those rounds. He might even lose the fight as well. Don't be surprised. That's what I'm going to say.
Give thanks, brother Gaia. Also coming up very soon, we do have the Friday Fights 126 card, which is just reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that thus far is absolutely stoked. I mean, you can look at some of the names on the screen at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. That should tell you all you need to know. BGD, I mean, we spoke about it. You spoke about it a little bit last night. Is
Yeah.
there any other thoughts that you had since, I mean, over the last 12 hours or so?
No, just one thing really. Again, it's a brilliant fight card to put together, right? And that's not even the whole fight card. We are going to get more additions to this fight card. But I just want to touch a little bit on the Sangatit and Ali Koyunku fight. I want to go and do some deep dives in Ali, and I thought he was actually of a high level opponent, but he really isn't. The record and typology only gave me 3 fights, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 cancelled bout. And Sangatit is a bit of a dog. Let's be honest, dude. The man's a problem. You know, the only issue that I'm finding a problem is that One Championship hasn't been able to find him fighters where he can get into a weight class and go somewhere, because in my opinion there's something in this fighter in Sangatit if they can get him into a division. You know what I mean? Because he's fighting One Championship. I know he's won one, lost one. But both fights were against very good names. One of them being Sewer Black, for example. He lost that fight against Sewer Black. But a good display, even though he lost, was still a good display. So let's just see what they do there. But that's the only thing I really wanted to say about that. I mean, the Sam A. Toil and Tit, my mind still can't get over the fight. I still can't get over that matchup. It's still making me think at night when I get into bed and I'm like, yo, who's gonna win this fight, bro? And like, how's it gonna look? Because Toil and Tit leaves me thinking, I don't know what, I can't analyze him. I can't make sense of his style and how he fights. And Sam A is one of the best you'll ever see in terms of how to navigate fights, whether kickboxing or Muay Thai. He's one of the best to watch in terms of his experience. The man's got over 400 fucking fights. So if there's someone that can game plan against you, it's Sam A. You know what I mean? The only argument that you can go against is that he is 41. So is he gonna look the same after round one? Is he gonna have the same stamina? Is he gonna have the same pop in his shots? Is he gonna fight the same? Is he gonna have the same kind of bursts after that first round? We don't know. I mean, he did look significantly slower against JDB after round one. He looked significantly slower after round one. And I know it's JDB, and JDB puts the volume on you. JDB puts the volume on you. He forced you to fight backwards. But Sam A did look slower round 2, round 3 in that fight. It was a 5-round fight, by the way. He looked significantly slower as the rounds progressed. And Toilentet's young, bruh. He's only 22 years old. So, yeah, but that fight's got me all kinds of mind blown.
Yeah. I mean, we all been treated to quite a few really fantastic fights in the next few weeks, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So be sure to stay tuned to Fighting with Friends. We'll be here to bring it all to you. But yeah, if as always, if you have made it this far, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We got new content, so you can watch the podcast every day. Joe Rogan. I'm gonna go now, brother Gaia.
Okay. You want me to talk us out here? Just to give thanks to everyone for tuning in. Leave in comments. If you leave in comments, drop in likes. If you drop in likes, just making the channel grow. That's a lot of respect and love from us for you guys that's tuned into our channel. But what you can expect, obviously, as the week goes on, Eddie just said now there's a lot of fights coming up this next couple of weeks that is going to be phenomenal fights. I mean, this Friday fights that's taking place this Friday. Oh my word, it's going to be insane. You got Felipe Lobo against Kulab Dam in the main event. So look forward to that one. That's going to be our preview that comes out on Thursday. We also will do a little bit of a reaction to that, the weigh-ins for the Fight Night 35 card that will be taking place on Thursday. And then what you can expect tomorrow, we are going to be doing a nice preview of the UFC Fight Night, where we see Nasruddin Imavov taking on Kyle Baralho for that middleweight contendership. I actually can't wait for that fight card, to be honest with you. But look forward for that for this week. And also, I expect to see you all at the lives when we do the Friday Fight Live and the Fight Night 35 Live as well. So on that note, for myself and the rest of the Fighting with Friends team, have a very, very good week, and we will catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.
I have a son to raise, I have tax to pay, and I have a live to live. I have a son to raise, I have